The amazing Martha Yordi. Thank you so much, Martha, for that beautiful medley. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Denver. All of you who are here in our sanctuary, I see lots of new faces, and it's great to see you here with us. And thank you for choosing to join us this morning. What am I hearing? I'm glad it wasn't just me, right? I know I hear voices sometimes. I don't always hear music, but I sometimes hear voices. Welcome and welcome. Those of you who are tuning in online, thank you also for choosing to spend part of your 4th of July with us. We celebrate our independence today on our 4th of July, and so thank you for choosing to be here. Some of you that might be, maybe you're watching, maybe you're stuck on I-70 and you're tuning in on your phone or something, I don't know, but bless you if you got caught up in all of that. So if you're watching us on YouTube, wait a minute, let me go back. If you're not getting our newsletter, which goes out every Friday morning, and you'd like to know what's going on around here, please go to our website, that's unitydenver.org. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the homepage, and there's an orange button right there, and you can subscribe very quickly and easily, and you will get our newsletter every Friday. If you are watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell there, and you'll get notified when we go live. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like our page. Make some comments on there. We like to see when you're watching us, and we'd like to hear from you and let us know that you are watching us. If you would like to download our app, which you can do by sending a text to 833-815-9486, and that text is Unity Denver, all one word, lowercase, space, APP. When you do that, you will get a return text that has a link that you can click on, and you can download our app where you can make donations, you can watch past services, you can sign up for classes and events and all sorts of things. And if you're not that techie, and if you'd like to just get in touch with us by email, please send us an email at info@unitydenver.org, and someone will get back to you just as soon as we possibly can. So I want to just share with you a couple of things that are going on around here every Sunday at 11:15. If you're watching online, there is our youth and family ministry director presents a children's message every week at 11:15, and those are really good messages. I actually thought about using some of Natalie's lessons as a basis for some of the things we do in here. So I may do that at some point. If you're not watching those, I really encourage you to do that. Reminder that the Fall Feminine Energy Retreat is coming up the weekend of September 3rd through the 5th. If you'd like more information, go to our website. You can register on the website as well. Fellowship, we're having some fellowship today. Thanks to our council for fellowship last week. I think we had a good time. People got to share some time together outside. We're having some things happening. We've got coffee. Coffee is back. Cookies are back for some of you who are into all of that, and some other things we're going to have today as well after service. So please stick around and say hey to each other. Hey, am I Southern or what? Say hi to each other. Meet some new folks and socialize a little bit today. Next Sunday after service is our annual meeting, our annual membership meeting. We do ask that those of you who are voting members attend that. We will be electing council members. We'll also be voting on some suggested bylaw amendments. If you get our newsletter, you received that information. So we'll need a quorum to make that happen of voting members. So we would appreciate your attendance for that meeting if at all possible. We have an exciting event coming up next month on July 23rd. Many of you know Lauren Sheely, who sings here quite often. She and her friend Sarah Rex will be presenting a concert here. Martha says it's going to be very funny, lighthearted music, and I look forward to that. So it'll be a love offering basis, 7 o'clock Friday night here. Please come and participate in that. And then one thing we forgot to put on the slides is the contemplative service. It seems like we forget to announce that quite often, but we have our contemplative service once a month, and that's going to be this coming Wednesday night at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary. You can come in person. We'll also be live streaming it for those of you who like to attend virtually. So, let's take a breath together as we come together. I just invite you to take a moment, take a breath as we connect with the vibration of sound. This is, I've told you before, tuned to F, which is really connected to the heart chakra. So as we listen to that, I just invite you to breathe into your heart, open your heart to that divine love that is living itself in us. So I invite you to settle in, take a breath. Feel your body supported by the chair. Feel your feet against the floor. Feel that energy of Mother Earth, Gaia, rising to meet you, that nurturing, creative life force energy. Breathe it up through your bottom of your feet into your heart. Feel yourself connected to the cosmic energy, the cosmic Christ energy, breathing it down into your heart. Where we know that we become those vessels, those channels through which that divine life, that light of source, the true light that enlightens everyone, we become the channels to bring that here, upon this plane of existence. We truly are the ones who are here to bring that consciousness of unity, of heaven, oneness, through us, into the earth, into the world, through our thoughts and our words and our actions. And as we do that, we open our hearts to allow that energy to flow. And we know that we are one in that energy. We feel the connection one with each other, heart to heart to heart, as we open up. And so together, those of us who are gathered here in this space, we feel that energy. Those of us who are gathered in this virtual space, we feel that energy, knowing that in love, in light, there are no boundaries. So we feel it, we resonate with it, and we radiate that energy out into our world. And into this resonant field of love, we bring those who are on our hearts and minds, individuals, groups, situations that might be disturbing to us, or someone who might be experiencing some challenge in their life. And so we bring them to mind and heart, and together we hold each one in this energy of love, knowing that love is the power that heals, love is the power that harmonizes, love is the power that brings us all together in one accord. And we celebrate that. We trust that. We know that. And as we allow ourselves to be those vessels, it does become so in our experience. And so it is. Amen. So today is Independence Day, the 4th of July. It doesn't often, I guess occasionally falls on a Sunday. I don't know how often it falls on a Sunday, but I know it's been a while since it's been on a Sunday. And so we honor that day as the day when our four founding fathers signed that document declaring independence from tyranny, from oppression, and all that involves. That we are very blessed to enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. That we are blessed to be able to have freedom of speech and freedom of or from religion. And we have many freedoms that many others do not enjoy, and so we honor that. We celebrate that. And I want to share with you, I was inspired to go back and read the first few lines of the Declaration of Independence, and then what came to me about that, a more metaphysical, personal version of that I want to share with you. And so this is what it says in that document. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impels them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So I'm going to stop there, and while I understand that it's important and we do enjoy our freedom and independence here in this country, and I celebrate that. What I also know is that there is no outer institution, there is no outer form that can truly give us freedom. True freedom comes from within. True freedom comes from realizing we are created in the image, likeness of our Creator, and certainly endowed with those unalienable rights. And while we do enjoy that I believe that we get to set ourselves free is what I'm going to be talking about today. It's important for us to know where our true freedom lies. And this is what came to me about how I would say that if I was declaring that independence today. When in the course of our human journey, it becomes necessary for us to dissolve the beliefs in separation that have bound us to fear and have subjected us to the effects thereof, to assume the innate power of God within us, and to acknowledge the God within all others and all creation. A decent respect for all impels us to declare the cause for this dissolution. We believe that these truths require no justification or further explanation, that all people are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain rights that cannot be taken away. Among them are the right to have their unique expression of the life of God honored and respected, the right to be free to live their life in peace, harmony, and prosperity, to love whomever they choose, to worship or not in whatever way feels right to them, to not be dismissed, disinherited, or discounted because of the color of their skin, gender expression, sexual identity, or sexual orientation, and the right to pursue happiness in ways that do not infringe on the rights and well-being of others. To secure these rights, we will establish within ourselves a conscious awareness of our divine nature and allow it to govern our thoughts, words, and actions, thereby laying the foundation for our present and our future upon the principles of love, unity, and equality for all, and taking actions necessary to support and encourage a society who lives by these principles. Today, we declare our independence from the bonds of fear and claim our freedom. So I want to welcome this morning, always inspiring and fun and engaging, Bettman and Halpin, Stephanie Bettman and Luke Halpin, who are going to bless us with their music this morning. So welcome, Stephanie and Luke.
Thank you. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and where we wept, when we remembered Zion. For the wicked carried us away to captivity, required from us a song. How can we sing our sacred song in a strange land? So let the words of our mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown. Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down, down in the trouble the water? Who's that young girl dressed in white, way in the water? Must be the children of the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that young girl dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. I said wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. I said wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that arrangement of those songs. Yeah, I'm stepping down here today. So freedom. We celebrate freedom today. As I said, the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of freedom. But what is freedom? What is true freedom? How do we achieve it? You know, our master teacher, our Waisho, our elder brother, Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and it is that truth that will set you free." What is the truth? What's the truth that he was talking about? Well, we in Unity believe that the truth that Jesus was referring to is the truth that we are divine. The truth that we are created as the image and likeness of our Creator, the divine, endowed with all of the gifts, powers of that divine being. We call that the Christ. And Jesus was one, we believe, who recognized that. Whether you believe he was born knowing that or whether he grew into that, we believe he was one who lived that. And we believe he was here to teach us that that is the truth of us as well. And that we forget that. We don't remember that truth. And so we sort of get lost. And when we don't remember that truth, we're not free, really free. So how do we get there? How do we remember that? Well, let me just say this. The truth is, the ultimate truth, the absolute truth of that is that we can never not be that. We can never not be that divine self. But we're taught, or we believe, or we've grown to believe that we're something other than that. So how do we get back to that? How do we get back to that knowing? How do we get back to the promised land? How do we get back to Zion? How do we get back to that place of where we know that and we live it? And I think the story in the Bible of when Moses led the children of Israel out of bondage in Egypt is a great story when we look at it metaphorically and metaphysically that can give us lots of clues about that journey. And for us, it's a journey, just like it was for the children of Israel, a journey to remembrance. To remember the story, the children of Israel, and I love that idea, this children of Israel were captive in Egypt. They were enslaved in Egypt. And when we think about the children of Israel metaphysically, and when we talk about metaphysical interpretation, some of you may be new to that, we're talking about how that represents something that's happening within us. Some aspect of our own consciousness, some aspect of our thought processes and feelings and all of that. And so when we talk about the children of Israel, I like this idea of children because it represents for us our innocence, our wonder, our childlike nature. And when we think about Israel, if we just kind of look at it as is real, what is real about us is that sort of excitement and energy and wonder and creativity and innocence and all of that's real about us, that we come into this life experience to experience and to share and to live and to just remember who we are as that. That is what is real about us. And yet we become captive to this land of Egypt, this dark place, I kind of think of it as we become captive to the empire. The empire out there that says, well, you have to do this, you need to be this, you can't do that, you can't be true to yourself because that doesn't work with society. You can't be yourself because you won't fit in. You can't be that creative because you need to get a job, you need to make money. All of those ideas that we take on about ourselves and about who we have to be become this, what we call the ego. The ego, the adverse ego of our focus on the outer world, the world of materiality. And how many of us grow up believing that that's what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to serve somebody else's idea of who we're supposed to be. Or we're supposed to serve society's idea of what's acceptable. And so who we really are gets suppressed. So Pharaoh in the story represents our adverse ego that becomes in charge of us, that we are serving in some way. We become enslaved to that. Those ideas. And for many of us, well, I want to say for many of us, I'm not going to say us, but for many people in the world, that's never questioned. For many people, that's just the way life is. That's what we're taught. That's what we're taught in school. That's what we grow up believing. And so we accept it, and that's just the way it is. And we become enslaved, truly enslaved to that. But then along comes this idea of Moses in the story, where Moses, if you remember, grew up in the house of Pharaoh, and then he realized he was a Hebrew and killed a guard, and then he went away to tend the sheep, to become a shepherd. He was a shepherd for 40 years in the story. So metaphysically, for us, that really indicates something important for us, that tending sheep is about tending to those innocent ideas. Spending time connecting, reconnecting, and tending those innocent, creative, expressive, excited ideas about who we are. And so Moses is that aspect that tends to that. For 40 years, now 40, it may have been 40 years literally, but 40 metaphysically just represents a time of completion. A time when it's complete. And then, Moses then went to the mountain and he had the vision of God, the I am that I am, that said, go and free my people. So what that says to me is that there is an aspect of us, there is something within all of us that does remember who we are. There is a knowing, a spark, as we sometimes call it, a spark of the divine, the Christ within us. And there's some awareness of that within each one of us, that we, in order to free ourselves, must tend. Must give some time and energy through prayer and meditation and contemplation, and however that looks for you. It doesn't mean sitting on a cushion meditating. It may be that for you. It may be communing in nature. It may be dancing. It may be singing. Whatever it is that connects you with that energy of life, that inspires you, that brings you joy, that connects you with that presence within you. Please do something that connects you, reconnects you with that childlike nature, the truth of you. So Moses, spending that time, was reconnecting with that, and then in meditation, which we think of as that high place, he had that vision, an awareness and a reawakening of that within them, and said, okay, now you are ready to go back into that place and free those places within you. Set them free. Because only when you set them free are you really able to live the fullness of the life that you are meant to live, the freedom that you are meant to live, to free yourself. And you know what? I believe in our own journeys, and I can own it for myself in my own journey. Sometimes I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go back into that dark stuff. I don't want to deal with the stuff that has caused me or that I have allowed to suppress that part, the things that I've experienced in my life, the things that I've taken on. Wouldn't you rather just go back to Zion? Go back to the promised land? I just want to be in the promised land. But what I've learned is that it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We do have to look at the stuff and come face to face with that stuff to free us. But that old ego does not want to let go. Pharaoh did not want to let go. Well, how many plagues did they have to suffer through? How much suffering are we willing to endure? It's a good question. In 12 steps, we talk about hitting bottom or rock bottom. Sometimes we have to hit bottom before we're even ready to deal with that stuff. To go back and recognize, I'm done with the suffering stuff. And like in the 12 steps, you can't do it by yourself sometimes. The same thinking that got you here is not the same thinking that's going to get you out of it. So sometimes we need help, whatever help we need. We seek that help to deal with that. When we're free, when we're really done with suffering. And again, there are many people who don't ever go there. Lots of people don't ever go there. But I know you want to be free. Just like I want to be free. But when you're done with suffering, say, okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Set that stuff free. So then you're free to leave, and then what happens next? You come up against an insurmountable obstacle, like the Red Sea. How am I ever going to get across this? How am I ever going to manage this? Anybody ever had that happen? You just get there. It's like hitting this wall. And what else is happening? You're like at the Red Sea, and all that other stuff is chasing you. But you just want to get away from it. And you think, oh, this is never going to happen. I'm going to be overcome. How do we move past that? Well, what happened in the story? They had to trust. They had to trust that there was a higher power. Had to trust that there was some way. We've always heard, where there's a will, there's a way. Where we don't see a way, God will make a way. Have you heard that before? Where I don't see a way, God will make a way. And so it's important for us when we're moving through these times of struggle, sometimes to get to freedom, get to the promised land, we have to trust. You have to practice faith. And faith, in my way of thinking, is to be willing to see beyond, to see the possibility, to see the potential beyond what you might be seeing in the physical. So the sea parts. They walk across, still being chased, until the sea begins to then swallow up those who were chasing them. Powerful part of the story, really, when we think about it metaphysically. When we think about water being spirit, water being life, water being that which purifies, spirit. I don't like to think about people drowning. That's kind of awful part of the story. But when you think about it more metaphysically and think about that's the stuff that we have been enslaved to, we have been in bondage to in our lives. We're running toward our freedom. We're moving toward our freedom back to the promised land. And the spirit of life itself swallows that up. If we're willing to allow that to happen. And then we're home free, right? We're home free. Not. What happens in the story? They go into the desert. Dry places. And they wander there for 40 years. It's a long time to wander in the desert. But you see what happens for us sometimes. Just like it was in the story where some of them wanted to go back. We had it better back there. At least I knew the devil I was dealing with back there, right? We get to that place in our own journey toward our own freedom. We hit those dry places where nothing really seems to be happening. I don't seem to be moving forward. I don't seem to be progressing in my spiritual journey the way I want to, not as fast as I want to. Anybody ever gotten there? And then we start, well, maybe I'm on the wrong path. Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'll just go back to the way it was before. At least I was comfortable in some ways back then. At least I had food to eat sometimes. And then what did the children of Israel do then? When Moses went up to the mountain to get the tablets for the Ten Commandments, they built a golden calf. They built an idol to worship because they weren't trusting their own spiritual path. This is a very important piece of the story. Very important piece of the story. Because it's important for us to ask ourselves, what idols do I worship? What idols have I created? Could be money, could be position, power, privilege, could be just my safety zone. It's different for all of us. It's what we know. Most of the time, it's what we have learned to worship, to give our time and attention to. Not that there's anything wrong with money or a job or anything like that, but am I making that my idol? Am I sacrificing my freedom, my expression for that? And while I'm on the subject, I think it's important for us as a spiritual community to look at that as well. What idols do we create? What are we really serving? Am I serving my own comfort? Am I serving my own, I don't want to say, are we serving tradition? Not that there's anything wrong with tradition, but are we making it an idol? I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying it's important to look at those things, to question those things. What are we serving? What is our idol? And then, they weren't trusting God to provide the food until manna comes from heaven. The manna just falls down from heaven. But what do? They try to save it. They try to hoard it. They try to keep it. Rather than trusting that the daily bread will be provided every day. What is that symbolic of for us? Our time, our talent, our money, our energy, our creativity. What is it in our own lives that we're holding on to and not allowing just to be expressed and to flow through us and to know that we are provided everything we need in the moment that we need it? That's hard to trust sometimes, isn't it? But also they're guided, they're guided by the pillar of cloud. The pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire, guided by day, guided by night. And they're guided through this whole period to the promised land, getting back home. Getting back home to this land flowing with milk and honey. Can we imagine this land that we can live in that flows with the sweetness and the unity and the love and all of that we truly long to experience, not only for ourselves, but for each other and for all humanity and for all creation? But getting there and living there begins with each of us individually. Being willing to free ourselves, to be honest with ourselves. I am speaking from my own personal experience with this that I have experienced, I'm experiencing now. So I'm not telling you anything that I'm not experiencing, that I'm not also going through. I'm just encouraging us that we individually get to do that for ourselves, free ourselves. And then we come together as a community who experience that freedom, and then we also then get to share that, to bring that forth. But as in the story, some of that old stuff has to die away. We have to let some of the stuff go so that we can cross over into the promised land, individually and collectively. And as we know, Moses never made it. It was Joshua that led the children of Israel over, which I'm going to talk about next week, but not today. So I don't want to leave you in the desert, but in a way I do want to leave you in the desert. But I don't want to leave you in the desert without hope. I want to encourage you to visit those places within you this week, that you might be allowing to suppress your own life energy, your own God self, Christ itself. Explore that a little bit. Bring some awareness to maybe what it is that you are choosing to serve in your life that is keeping you from your full expression. But do that with a sense of hope and possibility and potential. Knowing that you already are that life, are that Christ, and then you bring that light and that energy to whatever might be in your darkness, that it is there to shine the light, illuminate it for you, and to help you to move through it. And if you find that you need someone to help you, find someone to do that for you. But true freedom, I believe, is what we all want for ourselves. Nobody can give it to us. Unfortunately, there's no pill we can take, although I'm sure the pharmaceutical industry would try to come up with one. There is nothing on the outer that can free us. It's an inside job, and we all get to do it for ourselves. So, as I said, next week, we'll talk about Joshua and the walls of Jericho and how that can relate to our freedom as well. So let's take a moment, take a breath, breathe into that space within us, within our own conscious awareness, where that light eternally abides. The Christ light of us, the true light that enlightens everyone. The Logos, here now present, ready to lead us, to guide us to our own freedom, our own land of milk and honey, our own place of knowing. And as we breathe into our hearts, we feel the connection with that light, that life. And with every breath, we invite that light to expand, to grow, to open us up, to reveal to us, to illumine for us anything that might be held in the darkness, anything that we might have allowed ourselves to be enslaved to, so that we might be free. We might say, I'm done with suffering. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to express my fullness, the fullness of life that I am, the I am that I am. And I'm ready to make that journey And that journey begins now. So as you breathe into that awareness, breathe into this space, as we go into a time of silence, just invite you to open yourself up to the awareness of your own freedom. So once again, just return to the breath. Allow the breath to be a gentle reminder that you are always in the flow of life. Life is breathing you. Life is beating your heart. Life is animating every aspect of your being. As you open to that awareness, feel that life. Ground the awareness of that life as you breathe all the way down through the bottom of your feet, grounding it here and now, feeling it resonating through every cell of your body. Now is the time to declare your own independence, your own freedom from a sense of separation from the divine and from each other, from all creation, to declare your unity. And so it is. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. Right now, I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now. Do you believe it? Yes. Are you really free? Right now, right now. All right. Can I get an amen? So now is the time when we would usually be passing baskets, but we have baskets at the back of the sanctuary when you leave if you'd like to make a donation. We appreciate that. If you're watching online, there are many ways for you to do that. You can do that electronically. You can do it through our app. You can on the website, or you can do it by mail. And so we appreciate all of you for your continued support of this ministry. So now I invite you to join with me as we say our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
of a ship floating in the desert sand. There's water in the distance saying, catch me if you can. I am the king of a castle built on the ocean floor, and I am standing on a drawbridge knocking at my door.
The place where I am going, no one has ever been. The place where I am going, no one has ever been.
Of the circus in a pup tent downtown. I walk upon the wire and I even play the clown. I am the general of an army. All the soldiers look the same, and I am not a child, and this is not a game. The place where I am going,
no one has ever been. The place where I am going, no one has ever been.
I am the son of the Father. I am not the Prince of Peace. I've rubbed shoulders with the devil, and the Father still loves me. And I am on a journey with an ever-changing plan. When I get where I am going, I'll know who I am. The place where I am going, no one has ever been. The place where I am going, no one has ever been. Yeah, the place where I am going, no one has ever been. The place where I am going, no one has ever been. Thank you.
Thank you again, Stephanie and Luke. We always love having you with us. And thank you all for being here, whether you're here in person or here watching us virtually. We appreciate your presence here today. So I invite you to, if you'd like to stand as we say our closing prayer, please do that. If not, that's okay too. So let us join together as we say, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. As light, I illumine my world. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. As love, I live empathy, understanding, and compassion. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. As power, I co-create a world of love, unity, and equality for all. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. As presence, I stand in truth in every circumstance. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. And now join us. We sing the closing song, Love Can Move the World. Love can move the world as the moon in the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tide that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the trees. Feel the winds of love increase as we move this world to peace. Come Thank you.